The ocean has always kept its secrets well, guarding them beneath layers of waves, concealing them under the ever-changing shimmer of sunlight, and whispering those ancient stories only to those brave enough to listen to the sea's soft, endless voice. Somewhere far beyond the familiar coastlines we know so well, beyond the postcards and the maps, lie islands that seem to drift between the boundaries of myth and reality, as if they exist in both worlds but belong to neither. They are places where old legends still breathe through the tangled roots of trees, where every gust of wind carries the memory of something forgotten, and where time itself moves like the tide, slow, elusive, and impossible to hold. Every step taken upon their shores feels like a rediscovery of the world we thought we already knew, a quiet reminder that no matter how far humanity has traveled, the Earth still hides pieces of magic it refuses to give away easily. These islands don't call to travelers with noise or color or spectacle. Instead, they hum softly beneath the horizon, sending faint echoes into the dreams of those curious enough to listen. Some of them shimmer with untouched beauty, glowing like secrets the world was never meant to share, while others guard stories so dark and ancient that no one dares to finish telling them. You won't find these places printed across glossy travel brochures or advertised in bright airport posters, but you can feel their presence in the hush of the ocean wind and the sting of salt that lingers in the air. It's as if the ocean itself shaped them as riddles, testing who among us still believes in wonder, who still looks at the horizon and sees a question rather than an answer. To explore these islands is not just to travel, but to question everything you think you know about paradise, about beauty, and about what it truly means to be lost and found. Because sometimes, paradise is not a place of light. Sometimes it carries shadows that move quietly beneath its surface, reminding us that beauty and mystery are often born from the same source. And sometimes, the most breathtaking places in the world are the ones that try hardest not to be found, as if they are protecting themselves from the eyes of the unready. Here, the sea does not reveal its treasures willingly. It conceals, it guards, it hides, watching from beneath the waves with a patience that feels eternal. And what it hides might not just change how you see the ocean, but how you see the world itself, and perhaps how you see yourself within it. So I'll ask you this: are you ready to uncover what lies beyond the familiar blue, to step beyond the edge of what you think you know? Welcome to Beyond the Americas, islands the ocean tried to hide, a journey into the secrets the sea never meant to share. Galapagos Islands, Ecuador. Far out in the Pacific Ocean, where the equator slices across a restless stretch of blue water that glimmers endlessly under the fierce tropical sun, lie the Galapagos Islands, an isolated archipelago that feels less like a physical place on Earth and more like a half-remembered dream that the ocean has guarded for millennia. A secret whispered only to those who dare to travel far enough to hear it. Scattered roughly 1,000 kilometers off the rugged coast of Ecuador, these islands rise from the abyssal depths like ancient guardians forged of stone and flame, each one a silent monument carved by the patient hands of fire, wind, and time, shaped and reshaped by the endless dialogue between earth and sea. Long before explorers etched their routes across nautical maps, the Galapagos were alive with creatures that defied reason and imagination alike. Giant tortoises that moved with the slow dignity of living fossils. Marine iguanas that dove into the surf as if returning to a memory the ocean never forgot. And blue-footed boobies that performed awkward yet endearing dances of love beneath skies painted with light and cloud. The Galapagos were never designed for comfort or ease. They were born of eruption and chaos, molded by molten lava that cooled into black plains, creating a harsh yet sacred stage upon which evolution could perform its grandest, most unpredictable symphony of life and transformation. Here on these alien shores, Charles Darwin once wandered in thoughtful silence, his boots sinking into volcanic sand as he watched finches and studied the subtle differences between them, unaware that he was gathering the seeds of a theory that would one day change how humanity understood its place in the grand tapestry of existence. Each island tells its own unique story. Isabella's vast volcanoes that breathe the ancient heat of the planet's heart, Floriana's haunting legends of settlers who vanished without a trace, and Española's sheer cliffs where albatrosses soar with solemn grace above an ocean that never ceases its eternal song. The weather here is a living thing. It shifts from blinding sunlight to cool veils of mist, from soft whispers of wind to violent squalls that sweep across the sea, as though the very sky above cannot decide which mood to hold, painting the islands in 1,000 fleeting faces of light and shadow. On certain nights, when the waves fall quiet and the world feels suspended between breaths, the stars gather so close that they seem to hang just above your fingertips, scattered across the vast Pacific sky, like the glowing remnants of another world long since forgotten by time. Beneath the rolling surface of the ocean, sea lions twist and tumble through sapphire depths with effortless grace, while hammerhead sharks glide in ghostly procession, their forms drifting through shafts of light like the spectral guardians of a realm untouched by centuries. Some travelers speak of a subtle energy that hums through the islands, an ancient magnetic force that vibrates in the stone and air alike, making you feel both deeply welcome and faintly observed, as if the land itself possesses an awareness older than the human spirit. Others whisper tales of ghost ships seen gliding beyond the horizon, their lanterns glowing dimly through the fog before fading away with the dawn, leaving behind only the scent of salt and a silence so deep it feels almost supernatural. The flora of these islands survive not by abundance, but by resilience. Cacti bloom defiantly from bare volcanic rock. Mangroves spread their roots into the brackish water where no soil exists, and the hardy shrubs twist against the equatorial wind, clinging to life with quiet, unbreakable determination. Travelers often arrive seeking beauty, adventure, or discovery, yet they depart carrying something far more profound, an unspoken stillness, a reverence that lingers within them, as though the islands have taught them the rare art of listening to the world instead of speaking over it. The finest way to explore this scattered kingdom is by small yacht or expedition vessel, drifting from island to island while the sea dictates your rhythm, reminding you gently that here, it is the ocean, not time, that decides when the journey begins and when it should end. Always bring reef-safe sunscreen, light clothing, and an open heart, for the equatorial sun burns with a quiet persistence, and its heat, though gentle at first, will leave its mark as deeply as the islands leave theirs upon your soul. At sunrise, till the volcanic peaks catch fire in the early light, glowing in shades of crimson, amber, and gold like the living embers of the planet's first dawn, while the air hums softly with the sound of waves meeting stone in rhythmic conversation. At dusk, the sea turns to glass and mirrors the sky so perfectly that the horizon disappears altogether. And for one breathtaking moment, you stand between heaven and earth without knowing which side you belong to. The wildlife here knows no fear, for they have never learned it. Sea lions sleep lazily beside you on warm rocks. Penguins dart through your shadow as if in play, and iguanas sunbathe with stoic indifference, acknowledging your presence but never yielding to it. The Galapagos are not a destination, but a revelation, a living lesson in how life endures, transforms, and flourishes even in isolation, evolving with quiet brilliance while the rest of the world rushes past in noise and haste. Every footprint you leave on these shores will vanish swiftly, erased by tides that have turned for eons before your arrival, and will continue long after your memory fades. A reminder that nothing truly belongs to us here. Some travelers swear that time itself bends upon these islands, that the hours stretch and slow as though the earth is breathing in an older rhythm, inviting them to let go of the clocks and listen to the pulse of existence. Others say they feel something awaken within them, as if they have glimpsed the blueprint of creation, the delicate balance between chaos and order, survival and grace, that sustains all life upon this fragile planet. The Galapagos do not seek admiration or applause. They command humility, demanding that visitors step softly, observe quietly, and understand that nature here is not a spectacle to be consumed, but a living myth unfolding in silence. Come not to conquer, to photograph, or to boast, but to witness the sacred poetry written in stone, salt, and wind, to see with your heart the way the world was before it was named. And beyond the edge of the Americas, far from the noise of civilization, these islands endure as proof that the ocean never truly hides its secrets. It simply waits, patient and eternal, for those willing to listen long enough to hear them. Barbados, Caribbean. There's an island in the Caribbean where the wind carries the sweetness of sugar and the scent of salt, where the sea murmurs softly in a dozen shades of blue so vivid they seem painted by dreams, and where time itself drifts slower than anywhere else on Earth. Its name is Barbados. cradled tenderly between the Caribbean Sea and the vast Atlantic Ocean. The island sits like a luminous pearl balanced on the edge of two worlds, where the calm of the west meets the wild rhythm of the east, and every horizon breathes in light. The soul of Barbados is warm and unhurried, a living blend of coral stone, old legends, and music that rises from verandas and beaches alike, weaving through the air like an unending melody of joy and memory. Its golden beaches stretch in long, sighing curves beneath palm shadows, meeting waters so transparent and still that the boundary between sea and sky dissolves completely, leaving you to float between heaven and reflection. Yet beneath its postcard beauty lies a history dense with struggle, rhythm, and rebirth, a story not just of survival, but of transformation, sung through centuries of wind, drums, and spirit. Barbados was once the pulsing heart of the world's sugar empire, its endless cane fields shimmering beneath a merciless sun, where sweat and salt mingled until the very soil seemed to remember the labor of those who toiled upon it. But from those same roots grew resilience and laughter, and from pain came rhythm. The voice of Calypso rising from the fields like sunlight after rain, a sound that both mourns and heals, that both remembers and rejoices. In Bridgetown, the capital's heart beats to the rhythm of life itself, where bright painted houses lean close like neighbors in conversation, their walls alive with steel drum echoes, laughter spilling from rum shops, and the gentle clink of evening glasses catching the light. Rum here is more than a drink. It is history distilled, the slow alchemy of cane and time turned into liquid gold, flowing like the island's spirit through stories told in candlelight and music. Up at St. Nicholas Abbey, where the air smells faintly of molasses, wood, and memory, the past lingers in the rafters. Every breeze that drifts through the old distillery seems to whisper tales only the wind still remembers. Drive inland, and the turquoise sea fades behind you, replaced by rolling fields of green where mischievous monkeys leap between mahogany branches, and the air hums with the quiet music of hidden life. At the island's northern tip, the Atlantic hurls itself against ancient cliffs, and deep within the rock lies the Animal Flower Cave, a cathedral of stone and water where waves crash, echo, and then fall silent into shimmering crystal pools. Stand there and watch the endless rhythm of the ocean breaking against the world's edge. And you might understand why poets fall silent and painters run out of color in the face of such restless perfection. As dusk arrives, the horizon burns softly with gold and amber light, and the whole island hums in a tender, rhythmic heartbeat, a lullaby suspended between worlds, sung by the sea itself. Barbados feels alive in every moment, yet carries an ancient stillness, a quiet duality of joy and ghostly memory that lingers beneath the laughter, like the pulse beneath a song. The best time to visit is during the dry season, when the skies stretch wide and blue without end. The air feels warm but forgiving, and the sea keeps its calm secrets tucked beneath waves that glitter like glass. Always wear light clothes and a wide smile, for the island greets warmth as openly as it gives it, and kindness here spreads faster than the sunlight that ripples across its waters. Walk barefoot at Miami Beach, where the sand hums softly beneath your feet, and you'll feel the island's pulse rising through the earth, a steady reminder that this place is alive and breathing beneath you. Lose yourself in the rhythm of crop over, the great celebration of harvest and heritage, where feathers shimmer, drums thunder, laughter fills the streets, and every heartbeat moves in sync with the music of freedom. There is beauty in the imperfections here, in the chipped paint on an old door, in the cracked road that curves toward the sea, in the unplanned melody of voices that rise together at sunset without rehearsal or reason. Locals affectionately call their home BIM, a name spoken with pride, love, and belonging, as if the word itself carries the warmth of sunlight and the rhythm of waves. They'll smile and tell you that once you drink the island's water, your heart will never truly leave, that something of Barbados will stay with you, humming quietly in your chest wherever you go. Sometime, when the wind stills and the cane fields whisper, you can almost hear the hush of centuries drifting across the hills, the echoes of footsteps, laughter, and labor that shaped the island's beating heart. Barbados is not just a destination to see or photograph. It is a living feeling, soft, salt-sweet, and enduring. A warmth that lingers long after your plane takes off and the ocean fades beneath you. And beyond the borders of the Americas, this island stands as proof that paradise is not just a place that smiles. It sings, it remembers, and it breathes all in the same eternal, sunlit breath. The Bahamas, Caribbean. Scattered like fragments of a dream across the wide Caribbean and the restless Atlantic, the Bahamas shimmer in endless shades of turquoise and sapphire, forming a kingdom of water, light, and untold stories that seem to float between reality and fantasy, inviting travelers to step into a world both fragile and eternal. Over 700 islands and cays drift lazily across crystal seas, each one holding whispers of time, tide, and temptation. Their sands and palms carrying the memory of storms survived, ships lost, and secrets spoken only to the wind. From the air, the islands resemble delicate brushstrokes on the ocean's vast canvas, impossibly perfect and surreal, as if painted by some careful hand that knew both beauty and magic, stretching endlessly between horizon and imagination. Beneath the surface lies a hidden world of wonder. Coral cathedrals rising like underwater temples, deep blue holes plunging into mysterious darkness, and ancient ruins that many still swear are remnants of the legendary lost city of Atlantis, waiting silently for discovery. The Bahamian archipelago rests just 80 kilometers off the coast of Florida, yet stepping ashore feels like crossing centuries, entering a realm removed from the ordinary world, where the air hums with history, salt, and sunlight. Its history is a mosaic of pirates and explorers, shipwrecks and survival, of treasures hidden beneath waves and hearts tested by the relentless power of the sea, of communities shaped by both danger and devotion over generations. Nassau, the capital, hums with color and contradiction, where pastel houses lean close together like old friends, colonial walls cast long shadows, reggae beats rise from markets, and the scent of salt lingers in the warm sun-swept air. The Queen's Staircase winds gracefully through limestone, like a story carved by centuries, guiding travelers from the deep, shadowed earth to the island's bright crown, each step echoing with memory, sweat, and resilience. Out in the Exumas, the waters glow so vividly that boats appear to float upon air, while the famous swimming pigs paddle effortlessly, as if they alone inherited the paradise that humans only dream of touching. On Andros Island, the third largest barrier reef in the world guards secrets beneath its waves, with labyrinthine caves where divers hear echoes that do not belong to them, and currents that seem to whisper the language of the deep. Some say strange lights flicker mysteriously within the blue holes at night, as if the ocean itself is remembering something ancient, something lost long before humans walked its shores. Others claim to feel a presence that drifts between islands on the tide, old, watchful, gentle, and wise, like a guardian of the waters and sands, silently observing every heartbeat of life. Nature here balances gentleness with wildness. Flamingos stride elegantly through pink shimmering shallows, iguanas bask lazily on lonely sands, and dolphins race alongside the horizon, playing with sunlight and reflection as if in celebration of the day. The air carries the scents of salt, sun, and rum, a perfume that clings to your skin and hair, lingering long after you depart, a reminder that paradise leaves traces not only in sight but in memory. The climate is a perfect harmony, kissed by trade winds that temper the heat of endless summer, wrapping the islands in gentle breezes while the sun spreads gold across sand and sea alike. Yet even paradise has its storms, and the people of the Bahamas have learned to rebuild again and again, laying foundations of laughter, community, and resilience that withstand both hurricane and tide. The best way to experience these islands is by sea, to sail from K to K as the old pirates once did, guided by stars that refuse to fade, tracing paths older than maps or memory, following currents that carry both freedom and history. Always bring motion sickness tablets and an underwater camera, for the Bahamas reward those who venture deep, who dare to explore beneath waves, and who open themselves fully to the mysteries of coral reefs and hidden coves. Sunset here is not just a moment, but an immersion, a golden and rose-colored flood that drenches the soul, painting every wave, every tree, and every cloud with the soft fire of ending day. As light fades, bioluminescent waters shimmer like galaxies beneath your fingertips, a living reminder that even in darkness, the ocean holds its magic and waits to be discovered. The Bahamas insistently show that the line between heaven and earth is thin, shifting, and almost invisible, where water and sky meet in endless reflection, and every ripple carries possibility. Every island holds a rhythm, every wave whispers a secret, and every quiet moment offers a story, making this archipelago less a destination to see than a feeling to absorb, a pulse to become part of. Some places exist merely to be admired. The Bahamas exist to be felt, experienced, and remembered, as if the sea refuses to release them from the hearts of those who truly listen. They are not just islands, but memories etched in water, light, and sand, traces of eternity that the ocean refuses to let go of, lingering in mind long after departure. Beyond the Americas, these islands wait, shimmering and mysterious, impossibly alive, a living testament to the beauty, power, and gentle magic of a world where nature writes its own stories without hurry. And paradise exists as both legend and living truth. Mackinac Island, Michigan, U.S. Mackinac Island rises like a secret lifted from the cool, deep blue waters of Lake Huron, where ferries carve trails of white foam across the lake's glassy surface, and the echoes of history seem to linger in every gust of wind that brushes the shore. It is an island where time seems to have paused deliberately, a place where automobiles are forbidden and horses rule the streets with a quiet dignity, their hooves tapping like soft percussion against the cobblestones beneath the shadow of old trees. The first thing that strikes you is the soundscape itself, the rhythmic clip-clop of hooves, the jingling of harness bells carried on the breeze, and the gentle murmur of lake winds threading through birch and maple leaves as if whispering secrets from centuries past. The air carries a subtle perfume of freshly made fudge, blooming flowers, and the crispness of freedom, mingling in a way that evokes both comfort and the anticipation of discovery around every corner. The island's history stretches back to the native Odawa tribes, who considered this land sacred, believing it was shaped by spirits and watched over by winds that carried messages from the past to those who would listen with care. Later came for traders, soldiers, and dreamers, each leaving their mark by building wooden houses painted in hues borrowed from sunrises and sunsets, their colors bright against the deep greens and blues of the surrounding landscape. Today, these historic homes still stand, leaning slightly toward one another in quiet camaraderie, their windows catching light as they watch the world drift by at a slower, gentler pace, as if holding time in soft suspension. Fort Mackinac still gazes over the harbor, its cannons silent but proud, while the ghosts of soldiers, traders, and explorers seem polite and watchful, reminding visitors of lives lived long before their own footsteps. The Grand Hotel gleams atop its hill like a sentinel of elegance, white and stately, timeless in appearance, with a porch so wide it seems to embrace the entire island and every story whispered along its verandas. Inside, crystal chandeliers sway gently in the breeze, and the scent of lilacs drifts through open doors like memory itself made tangible, mingling with soft laughter and the quiet rhythm of footsteps across polished floors. Beneath the calm surface of the island lie ancient stories of spirits wandering the woods, of hidden tunnels beneath the fort, and of voices that echo in spaces long abandoned yet never truly silent. Hike to Arch Rock at the break of dawn, and you will feel it. The hush of the wind, the dizzying height above the lake, and the slow, steady heartbeat of the island as it waits patiently beneath your feet. The cliffs glow with blushes of pink and gold in the morning light, while the lake mirrors the sky with a calm so profound it seems almost supernatural, holding the reflection of clouds and light in perfect serenity. Mackinac's climate is crisp and bright, shifting unpredictably from warm sunshine to sudden bursts of lake spray rain, reminding visitors that the weather here is as lively and changeable as the island itself. The best way to explore is by bicycle, pedaling along the island's 8-mile road where every turn opens to a new perspective, revealing shifting shades of blue across the lake and sky, framed by forests and gardens in full bloom. Always carry water, a light sweater, and an openness to wonder, for the wind loves to change its mind, tugging at hair, scarves, and the corners of maps with mischievous playfulness. In summer, the Lilac Festival fills the island with clouds of purple and violet fragrance, painting streets and gardens in hues of bloom, while the air hums with the soft sweetness of celebration and memory. At dusk, horse-drawn carriages begin their gentle journey homeward, and the lake glows with golden light, reflecting the fading sun as if holding on to its last warmth with deliberate care. Bonfires crackle near the shoreline, their smoke curling skyward, while laughter and conversation drift beneath constellations so bright they seem almost close enough to touch with outstretched fingers. Locals will tell you that no one ever truly forgets Mackinac, that the island lingers in memory with a soft persistence, threading itself into dreams of peace and calm long after visitors depart. There is no bustling nightlife here, only candlelight and stars. Silence punctuated by soft hooves and the occasional call of a night bird, creating a rhythm of quiet that feels like breathing in time with the earth itself. The stillness of Mackinac Island is not emptiness, but fullness. A gentle completeness that allows every visitor to hear their own heartbeat and the subtle song of life carried across the lake's waters. Each visit feels like stepping into a painting, one that is alive with color, sound, and scent, and realizing that in this suspended world, you are free to breathe, move, and exist within the art itself. Mackinac teaches the slow, simple joys of life, how to savor stillness, to taste the sweetness hidden in quiet moments, and to remember the gentle rhythms of a world often overlooked in haste. Beyond the Americas, hidden in the deep blue heart of a freshwater lake, Mackinac Island stands as proof that paradise does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers softly, elegantly, and persistently, like hooves on stone echoing through centuries. Kauai, Hawaii, U.S. They say the rain never truly leaves Kauai. It simply lingers in the mist, hiding in the folds of valleys and clinging to leaves, waiting patiently to fall again and breathe life into every corner of the island. The island itself seems to breathe color, deep and electric, with greens so vivid they almost glow, blues that shimmer like molten jewels, and reds that flow across cliffs and canyon walls as if someone painted paradise and forgot to stop. Known as the Garden Isle, Kauai is the oldest of the Hawaiian chain, weathered yet unbowed, shaped by millennia of wind, water, and fire, each ridge and valley carved meticulously by time and kissed continuously by rainfall. Flying over its shores, the island rises from the ocean like a secret revealed. Cliffs of the Na Pali coast glinting like emerald blades against the endless sapphire sea, their jagged edges catching sunlight and shadow in a dance older than memory. The air is warm and humid, carrying the mingled perfume of rain, salt from the ocean, and the faint, elusive sweetness of guava and tropical flowers, a scent that seems to pulse with the heartbeat of the land itself. Waterfalls plunge from heights that defy belief, their silvery threads vanishing into emerald valleys below, where mist hangs like a veil, and every pool and stream seems designed to house dreams rather than water alone. The people here move with the rhythm of the land, unhurried, kind, and deeply attuned to the whispers of wind through palms and ridges, living in a quiet harmony that makes the pace of modern life feel impossible to carry here. Hike the Kalalau Trail, and you will feel the island itself watching you, patient and silent, aware of your presence, measuring your steps against its own ancient pulse, offering glimpses of beauty that are both reward and reminder. The trek is not easily conquered, yet every grueling step is worth the view at the end, where the cliffs and ocean stretch to infinity, and you feel as if you have discovered the very edge of creation itself. Down in Waimea Canyon, often called the Grand Canyon of the Pacific, red earth clashes with verdant jungle in a spectacle of color and time, layers of stone and soil telling stories older than any human memory. Clouds drift low across jagged ridges, brushing your skin with warmth and softness, as if the mountain itself is reaching out to greet and comfort you while you stand in awe of its scale. Roosters crow constantly throughout the day, descendants of storms past, strutting through streets and fields like tiny kings claiming their kingdom with confidence, while their voices carry across the valleys and beaches. Locals share tales of Pele, the fiery volcano goddess, whose spirit still moves through lava fields, ridges, and hidden springs, shaping the island in ways the eye cannot see, teaching patience, power, and reverence. The rain here is relentless but gentle, nourishing all it touches, turning even the most stubborn stone into life, keeping rivers full, plants lush, and the island itself forever vibrant and breathing. The best travel secret is to wake early, to rise with the sun, and to walk silently before speaking, because Kauai belongs to those who honor its rhythm, who listen to wind, water, and birdsong before imposing themselves upon its spaces. Bring sturdy hiking sandals, a dry bag, and humility, for this is not a place you take from. It is a place that teaches, shapes, and leaves its mark on those who are willing to receive its lessons. For lunch, stop at a roadside shack for poke so fresh it carries the taste of the ocean, the laughter of waves, and the warmth of the sun still lingering in the fish, an intimate taste of the island itself. By sunset, Hanalei Bay glows amber and indigo as surfers carve through translucent waves, mountains fading into purple haze behind them, and the entire sky seems to linger longer than it should, reluctant to let the day go. Night comes quietly but never still, filled with the chorus of frogs, the sway of palms, and the rhythmic breath of the sea, a gentle lullaby that reminds every visitor of the continuity of life and time on this ancient island. Every island has its own beauty, but Kauai holds something rarer, a sense of reverence, a quiet knowledge that here, wonder is found not in the loud or the spectacular, but in the enduring, subtle, and patient rhythm of the earth itself. It teaches that cliffs may crumble, rivers may shift, storms may rage, yet the spirit of the land persists, eternal and effortless. A lesson in resilience hidden within its lush forests, cascading waterfalls, and sweeping valleys. When you leave, you carry a change within you, a softening of heart, a calm you cannot fully explain, as though the rain itself has followed you home, whispering along your path and into your memory. Beyond the Americas, Kauai stands not merely as a destination to visit, but as a hymn sung by water, stone, and wind in perfect harmony, a melody of paradise that lingers in the mind long after you have departed. Isla Holbox, Mexico. Somewhere north of the Yucatan Peninsula, suspended between warm trade winds and the hush of untouched beaches, Isla Holbox floats like a secret half-remembered, half-imagined, a place that exists both in dream and memory, inviting travelers to slow down and breathe its rhythm. It is small, quiet, and shimmering in the tropical light, a delicate jewel where the sea composes poetry in every ripple, where the colors of sky and water blend seamlessly into one, and every moment feels suspended between water and horizon. The roads are made entirely of soft, white sand, the pace of life constructed from patience and gentle footsteps. And the air itself seems woven from light, carrying whispers of salt, sun, and the faint hum of the ocean in constant motion. Waves roll onto the shore with a quiet insistence, brushing against sand and mangroves as if too careful to disturb the island from its slow, golden, sun-drenched slumber, leaving behind a lacework of foam that glimmers in the afternoon sun. Flamingos stride elegantly through shallow turquoise water, their bright pink feathers a living brushstroke against an infinite palette of sea and sky, their reflections shimmering in pools like fleeting watercolor memories. Children laugh freely in Spanish, running barefoot along the tide, their voices mingling with the call of gulls overhead and the soft whisper of wind through palms, creating a harmony that feels older than any clock or calendar. The island smells of lime, salt, and sun-baked earth, distilled into the very essence of life itself, a scent that clings to hair and skin, leaving visitors marked by the purity of its simplicity long after they leave. At dusk, the sky bruises into deep purples and soft roses, and the ocean begins to glow from within, its waters catching light like molten jewels, reflecting clouds and stars as if holding the universe in miniature beneath your feet. Tiny points of bioluminescent light bloom beneath each step, living starlight dancing in shallow waves, following your rhythm as though carrying faith in the quiet blessing of the sea itself along with you. You cannot help but stop and stare, barefoot and breathless, feeling fully alive as if the island has loosened time itself just enough for you to notice the pulse of life in every shimmer of water and gust of wind. They say Holbox changes people not by showing beauty, but by slowing their heartbeat until they can feel it, teaching lessons in stillness, presence, and the rare patience of truly listening to the world. There are no engines, no rush, no intrusive noise here, only the pulse of water, the sigh of wind through palm fronds, and the subtle hum of life moving with quiet grace across sand, tide, and sky. Locals smile softly at passers-by, moving gently through their days as if they have already made peace with time and its passing, their calm presence a mirror of the island's own serene rhythm. Dogs nap lazily in sunlit corners. Roosters crow unpredictably, and nobody minds. For the rules of this place are written in wind and water rather than on signs, and the world moves according to nature rather than human schedules. Some say the island seems to glow because the sea remembers those who love it, carrying the memory of joy, care, and gentle footsteps across its tides, while others say it is simply nature, unpretentious and honest, doing what it has always done. The tropical heat presses softly against skin, warm but never oppressive, a gentle reminder that stillness can be enough, that resting, watching, and simply being is often the truest way to travel. Every evening feels stretched toward eternity, every wave a quiet promise that the world still knows how to be gentle, patient, and full of small, unspoken miracles waiting to be noticed. The only rule on Holbox is to let go, to allow the ocean and the tides to decide what you see, what you forget, and what you discover, surrendering expectations to the wisdom of water and wind. Pack lightly, carrying only clothes, curiosity, and the weight of your own heart, for the island provides everything else, from nourishment to inspiration, from calm to wonder, in quiet abundance. When rain comes, it falls softly and almost musically, tapping along sand and foliage like a benediction, a gentle cleansing that leaves both earth and spirit refreshed, forgiven, and ready to continue breathing together. Holbox is not simply paradise, it is peace in the shape of a place, subtle and profound, where visitors arrive as observers and leave carrying part of the tide, part of the island, and part of its still, luminous heartbeat with them. Beyond the Americas, Isla Holbox drifts quietly, proof that the quietest, most unassuming corners of the earth are often the ones that remember how to shine, how to nurture, and how to glow from the inside out, long after you have gone. Sanona Island, Dominican Republic. Off the southeastern coast of the Dominican Republic, where turquoise waves hum softly against coral-strewn shores and the sunlight dances on water like liquid glass, lies Sanona Island, a place so perfectly composed that it feels as if it were borrowed from a dream and set gently upon the earth. It is part of the Catubanama National Park, yet stepping ashore feels more like arriving at the edge of the world itself, wild, radiant, and untouched by time. A place where nature reigns with quiet authority and every breeze whispers serenity. The moment your boat glides across the sea toward the island, the water changes color, shifting from deep, mysterious blue to crystal green, as though the island itself commands the ocean's mood and orchestrates the light with unspoken mastery. Palms lean lazily over sugar-white sands, their fronds trembling in the gentle wind, and their reflections ripple in waters so transparent it seems impossible that anything so fragile and perfect could exist in the human world. There are no cities, no hum of engines, no rush of modern life, only the soft murmur of waves lapping against the shore and the quiet whisper of wind threading through the trees, composing a melody that carries peace in every note. The island stretches gently along the horizon, 25 kilometers of beaches that seem to exist outside of time, untouched by hurry, where every grain of sand is both ancient and alive with sunlight, wind, and tide. Beneath the visible beauty lies a history that stretches back centuries, where the Taino people once walked these sands long before the arrival of ships and explorers, their presence lingering quietly in every grove and mangrove-lined inlet. Some say the spirits of these ancestors still wander the mangroves, guardians of the island's silence and calm, watching over the beaches and reefs with patient, invisible eyes, ensuring that nothing disturbs the sacred harmony of this place. Others believe that Sayona's peace is enchanted, that the ocean itself chose to cradle this land and shield it from change, making it a sanctuary not just of sand and sea, but of time and memory itself. The sand beneath your feet is softer than thought, a yielding, sighing surface that cushions every step instead of crunching, inviting barefoot wandering and slow, reflective motion along its endless shores. Starfish scatter across the shallows like tiny living jewels, and small fish shimmer through translucent water as if they were painted from liquid glass, darting between sunlight and shadow with effortless grace. The water is so shallow and warm that you can walk far from the shore, suspended between sky and sea, feeling as though you are floating in a world where gravity has softened and only presence matters. Every gust of wind carries salt and sunlight together, a mixture that seems to infuse the body with calm and the mind with quiet clarity, reminding you that this island moves on its own rhythm, not yours. The weather remains gentle, the Caribbean sun painting sand, palms, and water in tones of gold and blue that shift with every passing cloud, creating a living canvas of light that changes with the hour and invites endless contemplation. The best way to reach Sayona is by catamaran, sails billowing in the wind, soft music drifting over the water, a glass of rum in hand, while the world gradually disappears behind you and the island grows larger and more inviting with every passing wave. Bring sunscreen, a wide-brimmed hat, and nothing else. For Sayona teaches a simple truth, that less is always more, and that richness lies in quiet moments, in soft sand, and in the intimate cadence of water against shore. Upon arrival, time itself begins to unravel, minutes stretching into hours, hours dissolving into quiet bliss, leaving only the gentle pulse of tides and the soft, breathing rhythm of the island to guide you through the day. The only rhythm that matters here is that of the sea, and it is never hurried, never demanding, a lesson in patience and presence that is written across every wave and whispered in every breeze. Locals grill freshly caught fish over open flames, seasoning it with lime, rice, and laughter, creating meals that taste of sunlight, salt, and warmth, nourishing body and spirit alike as the day moves toward evening. At sunset, the horizon transforms into hues of violet, amber, and rose, and the sea mirrors the last fire of the sun, holding every color and light in its glassy depths while birds return to roost and waves soften their voices. The sky folds into calm darkness as stars begin to shimmer, and you start to wonder if paradise was ever truly lost, or if it had simply been waiting here, patient and eternal, for those willing to arrive and witness its quiet wonder. Sayona is not a place to explore aggressively. It is a place to surrender to, a landscape that demands you move slowly, breathe fully, and allow every moment to seep into memory and body alike. Every breath feels borrowed from the island itself, carrying a hint of salt, sunlight, and history, leaving you changed, softened, and more aware of the slow, deliberate beauty of the world. Beyond the Americas, Sayona remains a quiet miracle in motion, a living testament to wind, salt, and memory. A sanctuary of peace that endures, shimmering under sun and moon, waiting patiently for those who come seeking stillness and wonder. Andros Island, the Bahamas. Deep within the Bahamas, where the turquoise waters slowly fade into shadows of mystery and the horizon seems endless, lies Andros Island, the wild heart of the archipelago, vast, silent, and endlessly alive. A place where the rhythm of water and wind governs life rather than clocks or human intention. It is the largest of all the Bahamian islands, yet also the least tamed. A landscape where mangroves stretch like veins of emerald through shallow seas, and the ocean conceals its secrets in deep, shifting blues, waiting for those who approach with reverence and patience. From above, Andros appears almost unreal, a labyrinth of shallows and tiny cays scattered across the sea, interlaced with veins of deep sapphire that slice through lighter waters, forming a network of colors and textures that seem painted by a divine hand. The people here call it the sleeping giant, for Andros is both beautiful and unknowable, a place that moves according to the tides and whispers of wind, a land whose scale and silence challenge perception and invite humility in every step. It is not so much an island as a labyrinth, three great land masses separated by channels of shifting light and shadow, where every inlet and bend carries a sense of hidden depth, and every grove or marsh seems alive with its own secret pulse. The air hums softly with salt and stillness, carrying a quiet weight, as if the world itself is holding its breath in the presence of this extraordinary landscape, where silence feels full rather than empty. Andros is home to the world's third largest barrier reef, a living cathedral beneath the waves where coral blooms silently and creatures glide through water that feels timeless, a submerged world both fragile and infinitely vast. Beneath these waters lie the famous blue holes, circular portals plunging into darkness so deep and cold that they seem to swallow all sound, leaving divers with only whispers and the slow thrum of their own heartbeat to measure the depth of the abyss. Divers speak of strange echoes within these hollows, whispers that might belong to the ocean's oldest spirits, carrying messages or warnings from the deep in a language humans can barely imagine. Some say the Lusca, a mythical creature part shark and part octopus, guards these depths, drawing into the blue holes anything that does not belong, a legend that makes even the most fearless diver pause in awe and caution. Others believe that these blue holes connect beneath the island, forming a secret labyrinth that only the ocean itself can navigate, a network of passages older than civilization, holding the memory of tides, storms, and time. The land above is just as wild, with mangrove forests tangled with orchids, bromeliads, and vines, while herons stalk still waters like ghosts in flight, and every path seems to invite exploration tempered by respect. The people of Andros live quietly, shaping their lives from sea, salt, and sun, their voices steady like the tide, their days measured not by urgency but by rhythm and observation, and their presence as patient and enduring as the island itself. Each village feels like a pause in the world. Wooden houses clustered along water and sand, laughter carried by breeze, and stories shared around firelight that bind community to history and to the subtle, slow cadence of life here. The climate is gentle but unpredictable, warmth and sun turning to sudden rain in the blink of an eye, only to return moments later, a reminder that the island obeys its own rhythms, not human expectation. There are no crowds, no noise, no intrusion of modernity, only sky, water, and the slow, deliberate turning of the earth, a cadence that humbles all who step onto its soil. The best way to explore is by small boat, winding through mangroves where sunlight flickers through leaves like colored glass, and every bend reveals a hidden lagoon, a bird, or a reflection so perfect it seems otherworldly. Bring insect repellent, reef-safe sunscreen, and curiosity, for Andros rewards those who travel softly, those willing to witness its secrets with patience and quiet attention, rather than rushing through its vastness. You can dive the tongue of the ocean, where the seafloor drops abruptly into infinite blue, a sight that humbles even the most fearless explorers and reminds all who descend that the planet's mysteries are far older than human life. At sunset, the island glows with copper and gold, the light carrying across mangroves, sands, and water, while the wind carries a sound that is almost like distant singing, a hymn the ocean seems to call out to anyone willing to listen. Some believe this sound is the ocean remembering, a resonance of life, water, and time, calling out to those who arrive with open hearts and quiet minds, a subtle invitation to recognize the vastness around them. Andros is not a paradise of comfort or indulgence, but a sanctuary of awe, a place where the world feels immeasurably larger, older, and infinitely more intricate than you ever imagined, where every ripple and gust seems imbued with ancient memory. Every ripple of water, every whisper of wind feels older than civilization itself, reminding visitors of their place in the grand, unending cycle of life, water, and time. You do not visit Andros as a traveler. You are absorbed into it, reshaped by its vast silence, humbled by its scale, and quietly transformed by its subtle, yet relentless presence. Beyond the Americas, Andros remains a living, breathing testament to the ocean's beating heart, a guardian of mystery and wonder, standing timeless between awe and fear, patience and power, light and deep, endless blue. ... Fernando de Noronha, Brazil. Far out in the Caribbean Sea, closer to the shores of Nicaragua than to Colombia itself, lies Isla San Andrés, a luminous patch of paradise suspended in 7 shades of blue, a place where the ocean seems to hold its breath and the horizon stretches endlessly in every direction. From the air, the island appears as a gemstone dropped into the sea, glowing and reflecting sunlight with a brilliance that shifts with every passing cloud, making it seem almost too perfect to be real and yet undeniably alive. The locals call it El Mar de los Siete Colores, the Sea of 7 Colors, and their words are true, for with every turn of the tide, the water paints itself in a new hue, blending turquoise, sapphire, emerald, and indigo into a living, breathing spectrum. The rhythm of life on San Andrés is slow, sweet, and deeply Caribbean, where reggae beats echo along sandy streets, coconuts sway lazily in the breeze, and the scent of sea, sun, and sugar drifts through the air like an unspoken welcome. The language here dances as naturally as the waves themselves, a lilting, melodic blend of Spanish, Creole, and English, shaped by centuries of migration, memory, and the laughter of generations who have called this island home. San Andrés is not about luxury or indulgence. It is about feeling alive, salt on your skin, sun in your hair, and the horizon stretching wide and unbroken ahead, a reminder that freedom can be measured in moments rather than minutes. Beneath the surface, the island's coral reefs spread like living lace, home to turtles, rays, and parrotfish whose flashes of color shimmer like broken rainbows, each movement an underwater dance choreographed by centuries of ocean life. Yet beneath this calm and radiant beauty lies history, a world of shipwrecks, buried treasure, and pirates who once called these waters home, leaving behind whispers in the sand and the occasional glint of gold beneath the waves. Some say that hidden treasure still glitters somewhere deep in the sea, guarded by the patience of the ocean itself, waiting for only the most attentive and reverent visitor to discover it. Above water, the island hums with life and color, pastel houses stacked against one another, murals so bright they seem to pulse with energy, and smiles that arrive before words, welcoming travelers as if they were long-lost friends. Coconut palms line the roads like green ribbons leading to secret coves, their fronds rustling gently in the trade winds, guiding visitors towards shade, sand, and the sound of waves caressing the shore. A visit to Johnny Cay, a tiny islet just offshore, reveals an unbroken day of music and light, where reggae flows from sunrise to sunset, and the ocean gleams as if it has been polished by centuries of sun and tide. Swim out to El Acuario, the natural aquarium, And the water is so clear you can see every ripple on the sand below, every darting fish, and every fragment of coral, a reminder that life exists in a perfect harmony here beneath the surface. The climate is generous, warm, and forgiving, with bright sunlight and gentle breezes scented with salt and sugar, inviting long days spent wandering, swimming, and absorbing the island's slow, abundant life. For travelers, the secret is to slow down, to move with the rhythm of the island, for nothing here hurries, and that is precisely why it feels so transformative and alive. Bring light clothing, reef-safe sunscreen, and curiosity, for San Andres rewards softness, patience, and attention, not schedules or haste, teaching the art of presence through every sound, color, and texture of the island. Taste the island's soul in a plate of rondon, a coconut milk stew with fish, crab, and plantain, cooked over open fire, each bite a fusion of history, comfort, and sunlight, a meal that carries the warmth and memory of generations. As the day wanes, locals gather along the shore with drums, laughter, and stories that stretch beyond the horizon, their voices mingling with the waves and wind in a symphony of life, joy, and shared history. The sunsets here are theatrical, a slow bleeding of orange into violet across the sky, mirrored perfectly in the water below, each moment stretching as if time itself is reluctant to end the day. When night falls, the waves shimmer faintly under the moonlight, and the island exhales, soft, slow, and alive. A breathing presence that watches over all who have wandered its sands and shallows. Some say San Andres feels haunted in the most beautiful way, as if joy and melancholy share the same heartbeat, coexisting in harmony beneath the endless Caribbean sky. The ocean never ceases its conversation, and the island never stops listening. A quiet dialogue of wind, water, and life that leaves every visitor changed, softened, and more awake to the world around them. You leave with salt on your lips and music in your chest, carrying a small part of the Caribbean's rhythm within you, knowing that a visit here is not a moment to forget, but a cadence to remember forever. Beyond the Americas, Isla San Andres is not a paradise to chase. It is a rhythm to remember, a living pulse of color, sound, and spirit that continues long after your footsteps have faded from its sand. Easter Island, chill. Somewhere in the middle of the world's largest ocean, far from bustling continents, busy ports, and the familiar hum of airplanes, there lies a hidden secret, a remote, lonely piece of land so isolated that even the wind seems to travel slower there, as if time itself hesitates before crossing its shores. They call it Easter Island, a name whispered by travelers and historians alike. Yet the local people, with reverence and pride, call it Rapa Nui, the navel of the world, a place that holds the center of stories, mysteries, and ancestral power within its volcanic heart. It is an island born from fire and stone, forged by volcanoes that once roared with molten fury and steeped in legends that echo across generations. A place shaped by faith, perseverance, and people who dream too big for the surrounding sea to ever contain their ambitions carved into the earth itself. The first thing that strikes every visitor, even before the smell of salt and earth reaches your senses, are the moai, enormous, hauntingly silent faces carved from volcanic rock, each one towering with a presence that demands attention, standing like solemn sentinels along the edges of cliffs that drop into the endless blue below. Unlike what one might expect, the moai face inland, turning away from the sea, as though they are not watchers of passing ships but guardians of their descendants, keeping a silent vigil over the villages, the fields, and the history that once flourished under their shadow. No one, not even the most skilled archaeologists or the wisest elders, truly knows how the ancient Rapa Nui transported these colossal statues across the island, nor what prayers, chants, or whispered secrets accompanied each careful placement of these stone giants onto the sacred platforms. Some say, in hushed tones that carry belief and wonder, that the statues themselves walked, moving slowly across the land, guided by mana, a mysterious spiritual power that flowed through the chants, the drums, and the faith of those who revered their ancestors. Others imagine that the earth itself lent a hand, rising in response to devotion so powerful and unwavering that the very soil and rock obeyed, lifting the heavy stones almost as if it understood the prayers embedded in every strike of the chisel. The island once thrived like a living, breathing organism, its forests full of life, its villages alive with laughter, song, and the rhythm of daily work, until the combination of overuse, isolation, and the inexorable passage of time brought quiet, stillness, and a haunting emptiness to the land. What remains today is both haunting and holy, a landscape that testifies to the brilliance of human ingenuity and the fragility of civilization, a place where the achievements of the past stand in silent dialogue with the impermanence of all things. The landscape itself is paradoxical, rugged yet soft, with rolling green hills that fold gently into cliffs, which in turn plunge dramatically into the infinite, shimmering blue of the surrounding ocean, creating a scene at once tender and awe-inspiring. Rano Raraku, the ancient volcanic quarry, still cradles half-finished moai, massive figures that lie in eternal slumber, never called to stand, as though waiting for a time that will never arrive. Their incomplete forms a poignant reminder of interrupted ambition and lost knowledge. The air here is thick with the weight of history. Each breath feels infused with centuries of human endeavor, and even the birds that glide across the sky seem to move slower, caught in the spell of an island where time stretches and lingers like a gentle, unhurried tide. The sunsets here are nothing short of otherworldly, with blazing oranges and molten reds spilling across the horizon, setting the ancient faces of the moai aflame in silhouette, refusing to fade and leaving a lingering sense of awe in every observer. Perhaps that is why the island carries a dual sensation, feeling both lonely in its isolation and deeply loved for the care and reverence bestowed upon it by its people, a paradox that touches every visitor who steps onto its soil. Standing among the towering statues, one feels simultaneously diminished and more human, humbled by the scale of history, yet connected to the enduring spirit that carves such monumental beauty from mere stone.